It's a good morning out there. It is a Saturday morning. Wednesday was pleasant. Spent it alone. I hope possible. Um, as I've always about. I used to say it's the journey. I've in my many decades now on this planet, I have realized it's neither the journey nor the destination or the friends you make along the way. It is the company you keep. And that doesn't matter if it's you, yourself, or someone else is with you. As long as you are enjoying the company you're keeping, the company that's following you along on your journey towards your destination, it's a good thing. Um, so, yeah. Anyway, uh, this is week. This is the end of week 3 of my experiment. I have these two are my main servers that I played, obviously because they're level 60s. Both of them are, I would say, toxic level red. Basically, anybody who builds more than a tier 1 structure is going to get blown up. Because the couple of clans that are on there that are actively attacking anybody and anything are deliberately targeting anybody who shows any kind of development. So at least that much, they're not destroying noobs or solos. They are going after groups. They are going after each other, and that's great. That's what PvP servers can be. And I'm not saying that they should be. I say they can be. Um, it is player versus player, but and I think by that definition, it means that it's your strategies of survival and building versus anybody else who wants to compete with you. So I myself am not a highly competitive individual, um, but if somebody wants to come and compete with me, let me know. Let me know the terms. Let me know the rewards, and I will throw down. It's okay with me. I don't mind. It's a game. I come here to have fun and play, and using a lot of filler sounds here. Sorry. Basically, I am entertaining the company of a raging headache right now, and I'm not going to go into deets as to why that is. Suffice it to say, I had a pretty decent Valentine's. Lots of chaos around that day, but uh, for for what mattered the most to me in that day, I had a lot of good times. And like I said, I really do hope that on these holidays, those of us who, you know, enjoy them on our own, at least hopefully you have good company in that respects. But anyway, back to the game. So my experiment is, I loaded up a bunch. See, that's not the case going on right now. Started them in the morning, which is when I normally get to play a little bit before the noon time, Pacific time zones. And then every day, or as many days as I can, mornings and evenings, get on and just basically level whoever's got the lowest ping at that time. And it happens to be today my PvE selection. Now, you're probably thinking what's as well. Hey, if you're not so much into PvP, why do you keep playing PvP? But because they do have a tendency to have the lowest ping, and I think that is by Funcom's design, because it's no fun going into combat against another brain if there's so much lag you can't really count on where your you know attacks are going to land. Plus, it's no fun playing against somebody who can exploit that. So Funcom does a really good job making sure that the PvP servers, for the most part, are the lowest ping in the list. Now, it is a Saturday morning, well, actually Saturday afternoon by many accounts. So likelihoods, probably not a lot of people on right now because they, no shame, no shame, but I consider myself a true gamer because I'm sitting here with a really, I would rather be back in my bed under the covers in a nice dark space. But I am here playing because I have committed to this experiment. I am going to see this project through. I've got one more week before deciding which of these alternates I keep. Um, it is going to be a bit. It's going to be a mix. The evaluation process. I have First, I was just going to say, well, let's just go with levels. Now, it is entirely possible to acquire lots of good loot in this game without getting to a max level. So I started saying to myself, well, it's not just going to be levels, it's also going to be how much progression the character has. Journey steps, chapters completed, recipes unlocked, and various levels of loot acquired or map locations explored. Because exploring in this game is directly related to the lag. A lot of the game does require climbing, running, hiding, building, and if you are suffering from a laggy server, your likelihood of being able to accomplish those things are going to be a bit of an uphill struggle for you. And that's not a pun or a an irony. That is the truth because there are some recipes that will require you to get climbing. Aloe for one, which is really good for your mounts and your pets, and then there's also a variety of other recipes like the mountain climbing recipe. So this is my PvE server, and I haven't actually played this guy in a while because he's been high ping on the list. And this is my left stick. This is the right stick. So camera moves, okay. But this is happening a lot. I'm also counting how many times this happens, and this happens quite often on just about all the servers, with the exception of one that I play that it doesn't seem like this ever really happens. Now, there's two ways to fix this. You can roll dodge out of it, or you can do an emote out of it, or you can equip a tool or a weapon with it. So this is my PvE server. Let's go check on my neighbors and see what they're doing. Alright, well he or she has not built much on that island. And do I have my repair hammer with me? I do not. But being a PvE server, we could do this kind of nutty things here. It's just, wow, he's got some pets out here. That's a lot of pets. So he must be setting up for a purge. On PvE, that's kind of what you're mostly concerned about, is the purge. You build big enough to induce a purge, or you can build small like I have here. Now, I'm actually be curious because I haven't been on this server since after the latest patch update, where they said there was some exploits and some issues with stackable items, and apparently that isn't the case with what I stacked. Yeah, this is my planter. I've kind of like towered up on everything here. So let's see. Wow, lots of funk going on with that. Do I have a squisher? I have not built one yet. Okay, let's go ahead and pull all the inventories. Let's see. This is so nuts. If I did this on a PvP server, it'd be graded so hard. It would be so looted. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and throw some fiber in there. I don't have enough fiber. I'll have to get some from there. And that's going to be not enough. Okay, so do I have a scythe? I do not have a scythe. Was I making a scythe? Was I even attempting? For some reason, Tiny Rex, you can't just triangle the inventory out, so... Do I have enough to make a scythe? No. I am going to need a lot more than that. So, no point making Consolidate unless I want to make a fountain or pool of refreshment. Let's see. Bloodletter Great Axe. Ooh, yeah. So, alright. So, based on my inventory contents, I would have to say that getting fuel and getting food are going to be my priorities today. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go knock out some let's go knock some heads in. I want to make a fluid press. I thought I had one already here, but apparently not. Maybe I just oh, I don't have the level for it, I think. I should have a level for it. No, not Not yet. Alrighty. So that's what I'm waiting on. 6 more levels. Let's see if we can get 6 levels in, say, 50 minutes. Let's do that. So, first off, we'll just go down the beach. Hey, good looking. We'll be back for you later. Sorry. That's a deep cut. For those of you kids out there who are watching this, you oldens like me, you might remember what that came from. So, alright, now, great axes. Not the best weapons in the world anymore. And I'm out of I'm out of stamina. I'm out of ammo. I play a lot of ammo-driven combat games. And the Cuisinart of Death has survived. Okay, so we're going to go ahead for hide because we need that tar. And we have food. Do I have the raw and bloody perk yet? No, so I'm going to have to cook that stuff. Let's go for the pike. Let's do some light attacks. The aggro. We've got all the aggro now. It's a party. It's a party. I'm not going to go for the bleed because it doesn't matter at this point. I don't have the perks for that, so normally, well, on a PvE server, I don't really know what the meta build would be the most expected. Ow, fudge. I'm trying to draw them in towards my camp. It's taking a bit. Hopefully, I have to make sure I don't get one down there a little bit more. Not getting murdered as much as I was earlier with before the patch on this character, so that's good. Normally it's a bedroll and a few passes on these dudes to get them to die or stuff. Unless maybe it's just the time of the day. Last time I played this character was during Raid Window, which of course, you know, I think the game's algorithm goes more hunter-killer ads, and NPCs and mobs tend to have a larger aggro range. There's a demon hyena around here somewhere. He's good XP. I'm almost a level up. That didn't take long at all. It's only been about 2 minutes since I started doing this. Let's go ahead and get ourselves back to stamina. Reload. There's a sandstorm coming, which doesn't mean dick in this game right now. Yeah, it's still a little buggy with the sandstorm thing. You're standing around, you're not seeing a sandstorm, but then all of a sudden you take damage. And then you see the sandstorm's coming at your ass, and you take no damage. Alright, that's not the demon hyena, he's too small. So apparently he didn't spawn today. Let's get his attention. That's not going to take much. And boom. Time in that jump. Yep, just unlocked me there. Gained a level! Yay! Only 5 more to go now. Let's try daggers since we got a bunch of them here now. Oh, there he is. Now we get the hell out of here. Okay, whoa. This is it. Alright. So, you're starting to think to yourself, well, geez, man, what the hell? Thought you were a god at this game. No, not at all. Not even close. Not even close. So not spice. Waiting for the reload. I was killed by the corrupted hyena. Oh yeah. Alright, so before I run out there, let's go ahead and see if I can make myself a bow. I do not have enough twine for that. There's my twine, okay. Not enough inventory space now. That's still probably not enough. Oh, that's just perfect. Okay, so we're going to go for a bloodletter bow. Bloodletter bow. A red letter bow. Let's just throw this stuff over here. I just want to get the space out of the way. Do I have any arrows? I have some arrows. I have a lot of good arrows. Let's grab the chunks. And let's go, let's see, those guys probably walked away from my body by now. Starting to get a little bit of rubber banding and some stuttering. That's okay. I'm not too broke up about that. Am I heading in the right direction? Yes, sir. My, I've often wondered what happens. Okay, where's my bod? There she is. He is. It is. Whoa! Okay, now we're gonna get crumped again. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. That cripple is just amazing. Ah, see what I'm talking about? This is what I was having the problem with last time. So this kind of goes into the the evaluation of whether or not this is a character worth playing. And now, hear me out. I have a tinfoil hat on this. I believe there's a hidden stat in most RPG games that basically determines what your luck is like, what your character's luck is like. Sometimes I think it's character based. Sometimes I think it's um, it might actually even be. I lost my arrows too because I brought those along. Um, I think it also could be account based. Now, the reason why I started developing this little theory is when playing Destiny, I noticed that it was. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stop giving these guys loot. When I was playing Destiny back in Destiny 1, played with a pretty large group of players. We had like about I would say we did 20 or so individuals that kind of got together and played. He's just camping my corpse. What the hell? This is that demon hyena. He's just fuck. I don't even think sneaking matters in this game for hostile mobs. Just enough to get close to my body. Just enough to get my shit and run away. I don't know. Maybe sneaking does work. I've never actually done this. I've never actually tried this. I know it doesn't work against players, but it might actually work against these guys. Okay, that's good. Alright. So far as I can tell, just like in PvP, you're definitely going to want a lot of strength. You're going to want a lot of endurance, stamina, grit. You're going to want a fair amount of survival or vitality because yeah, you're gonna get your butt killed quite a lot here. So I have like 10 points in strength, vitality, grit, and encumbrance. This is kind of like the 4 that I normally go with on any build. This is how I start the game up. But getting my ass crippled, that is really not gonna have any fun. So getting to tier 2 encumbrance will not only help me with harvesting, but will also be of a great benefit to me surviving fucking hyenas. I really dislike hyenas. And in an early game, you know, they are just a freaking nuisance. Mostly because they are the fuck all over the place, and they have the most unpredictable aggro. And they don't even acknowledge your shit, and then other times you barely get within eyesight of them. They barely start to spawn, and it's all of a sudden like, oh, they're useless individually, you know, but they are quite effective in groups, and you know that's their thing. If I was going to equate this to a Magic the Gathering deck, I would call hyenas part of the weenie horde type of strategy. And that would be with like just about any weenie horde. You know, it could be goblins, it could be elves, it could be soldiers. It doesn't matter. This is just a useless freaking build altogether. So let's see. We have damage 5, damage 9, damage 5. Okay, so let's start off with this. And I wonder. Let me think. So we're cooking some food because we haven't. That's the other thing too, is that I don't get much healing from. How did I put a? Did I have a fish in there? Huh. Well, whatever. I do need some ichor. That's gonna be a thing. I want to go ahead and put a torch out there So I'm patiently waiting. Let's put the ichor in here. Oops, wrong. Thank you. And let's grab the stuff. No, I don't need to really actually split it though. Let's just do this. Then we'll split it. So you can see I'm not like super invested in, you know, grinding up a massive compound. Um, but I do want to try and, you know, be fair with this guy. You know, just to be fair with him. Let's see. So we are level 23 right now, which is pretty darn good. Um, Wanted to try to get to, what is it, level 28 for the. I wanted to get that done. I wanted to get that. So 5 more levels. We can do 5 more levels. Let's see. I can make a torch out of that now. I really do think. Okay, I know I've said this so many times. Those of you who have been watching my streams, everything on that, whatever that setting is, it's called crafting, I guess, or whatever. No, it's all called crafting. So these little icons here, like that's like, you know, survival right there. All of these things here, I really do think that all of this should be at the very top at all times. Just like, you know, fiber weaving and that kind of shit. You should have, um, you should have these items up at the top also. You know, just like you can do this at the top all the time. See how it's at the top of the menu? Because it doesn't matter what you select. I mean, I can select that. It shows me, oh, that's where that stuff is. But then I have to still go all the way the fuck down to get to it. And let's be honest, on the fly, you're building things like, you know, the campfires. You're probably building a water skin. I'm talking about the fact that, you know, you just got murdered. They destroyed your bed, your bedroll. You have no, you're in the desert, and you know you need to make your way back. When you start the game, all that stuff is right at the top of your menu for the most part because you don't have anything else. But once you start accruing, you know, more recipes and obviously the building recipes, you know, this is not something you do on the fly. Okay, none of this is what you do on the fly. This is all like I'm taking my time. I know what I'm building. Maybe this, and maybe the sandstone stuff. You know, maybe the sandstone stuff you probably want to do that on the fly because you need to build a shelter real quick. You got to sign off, or you're trying to defend yourself against, you know, a hostile mob or something like that. But even then, that's not at the top of this list. You know, at the top of this list is all the other tier. It'll be the tier 3 shit, you know, and everything else. And that's like, you know, first of all, I think you should be able to put that crap in an artisan table or a carpenter's bench, or maybe even just an engineer's bench if you want to say, you know, if you want to make a new bench for a new container. And you should definitely, you know, have it be something that a thrall can craft for you. Maybe save you like, you know, 10%. A tier 3 crafter or a named crafter could save you like 10% of the building materials, but it'd be more about the fact about getting somebody else to do it for you, um, and whoever puts it in gets the XP when they take it out, that kind of thing. So, you know, just a suggestion: if Funcom actually comes out here and watches this sometime, or is it Tencent now that owns it? You know, just a suggestion. You know, all the building stuff that should be assigned to a thrall, and you know, allowed the opportunity to have that crafted out there. Just, you know, just because it would build more of a RPG kind of scenario kind of thing. Give you one more reason to go out and collect a thrall, and it could provide for some good fun. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this torch and I'm going to go run the fuck out there. And I'm going to put the torch down next to the hostiles. Because I could actually get up on the rock and just arrow the fuck out of them if I wanted to do that. Oh, by the way, I have noticed that I've been loose with the F bombs here. So this is not an M. This is not a a E for everything, F for everyone. This is not an E for everyone game. This is an M game, mature audiences recommended game, and I would strongly suggest that if you are a child, as defined by YouTube's and all the other other organizations, yeah, you should stop watching this. Go find some like Barney or some Doc McStuffins. Okay, we're gonna wait for the kid. Gonna wait for them to spaz out, run around like little toddlers here, high on Oreo cookies. Let's get these guys killed off. I got plenty of arrows. There's like no rush. I'm just gonna stay up on this rock. Of course, now, if I had somebody trolling me, they would come out here and they would chop the rock down, and I would fall right into this pit of death. But I don't have anybody else on the server right now, do I? Yeah, Darkhaven's around, but you know, that's my neighbors. I don't think he'd be interested. He might be watching. Not likely. I don't think anybody would like. I don't know if anybody is that way on the PvE servers. You know, I know on PvP servers they would be like hanging out and waiting for me to kill, you know, a target like this, and then they would definitely want to try to either, you know, ambush me or, you know, try to snake the target. I've had a couple of instances in that like that happen during a rolling battle that we had with some server pirates. I'm out of ammo, so we're gonna go with this one now. Just do light attacks. Wow, bows really do a good job. I mean, this is just gonna sit here, just grinding out the arrows. Alright, we're out of arrows on that one. And we're gonna do that one now. We'll just do some heavies. I guess I should probably experiment with the accuracy build. That one might be kind of fun to do on this character. Simply because, you know, I hear so much about it on the PvP servers. I have a couple of people who are meta heads. Oh, that looked like somebody was nearby. Nope, it's just a scared. Common sense is tingling though. It's kind of funny because even though I'm playing with no audio whatsoever out of my television right now, because like I said, I have this nice. It's actually, the headache is kind of going away a bit now. I went crazy with a nice strong cup of coffee, working my way through another 20 ounces of just, you know, nice fresh Brita water, and had a couple of eggs and some fried toast. I don't use electric toast anymore. I don't eat electrified toast anymore. Yay. Okay, now we can go ahead and let's get some skin-ins. Alright, now the corrupted hyena should drop some blood or other things. Let's see, maybe the pick will do it. Sometimes they drop repair kits. Sometimes they don't. Let's see, can I get a head? Nope, he didn't drop shit for me. Well, let's go ahead and chop up this asshole. Alright, come on, there we go. We're gonna need those bones. And let's see, where's the other one? There she is. Alright, I'm gonna get this. Whoops. And let's see, is there another one over here? I thought there was another one over here that I did earlier. Is it gone? Okay. Well, sometimes you get advanced repair kits. What the fuck? Sometimes you get advanced repair kits and other shit out of it. What the? Is that my character's bits? You do not understand what the fuck that is. Whatever then. Well look, the Crocs are back. That's a good thing. Alright, let's try out the dags. See what happens. Yeah, see, I get a little bit of a pose. I call it posing. When you go for a combo, and you're trying to like string along and evade after that attack. If you like do this and then you get that. But if you do more than 2 hits, it seems like it's more of a pain in the ass to try to get an evasion combo. So, yeah, subtle changes in this game all the time, which is good because I mean I like that. I like the fact that there's a change up, and that is my bits. Or maybe that was. Oh, I bet that's one. I bet that's that NPC that roams around here from the Black Hand Camp, which is fine. I can't get to it. He's probably somewhere in the mesh. At least it's not flying spiders. That's creepy shit right there, I'll tell you. They don't really actually attack you or anything. But if you head up towards the Sinner's Refuge area, there's some. Are they elks? I don't know what they are. Anyway, there's some of those little elk, gazelle-looking kind of beasties. Anyway, once in a great while, one of them will hit a collision in a weird way, and it will start floating up. It's just, it's bizarre. Okay, I'm gonna get some bone meal going on here. I could make some bone arrows, but yeah. Let's get the bone meal going. Just throw that in there. Let's throw this on here. Not getting a lot of hide. It's kind of annoying. Let's put the vines in there. I'm going to build a stable here eventually. And let's go ahead and cook this shit up. Feral flesh. The flesh. Okay, so we're going to take this standing torch. And I'm going to head out to the Black Galleon, I think. I have enough on me that makes sense to do so. I don't really want that anymore. I'll show you how I set up my wheel. You probably have seen it. So this is where the hyena spawns. So I'm going to mark that. Oh look, there's a hyena right here. So you go 1, 2, and then 3. Go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just annoy the hell out of the boing boing. Yeah, yes. Alright, got that down. I only have 2 arrows, which would be enough to pull aggro from one of the ads. Or maybe, NPC. I don't want the feral flesh on my Hot Wheel. I want the shredded roast there. There we go. Okay, so... Oh, these guys are good hide. Not too much on the XP, I think. What are they? Oh, what the hell are you doing, man? So now that's lag. When your character attacks open air, that means that the game had planned to move the target into that spot, but then didn't do it or wasn't able to. And, yeah. Your character got the notification, but the enemy didn't get the memo. Boing, boing, boing. Alright, well that's better. I play on a PvP server that has a weird bit of lag where hiking, something like that, kind of doesn't do a really good job. Okay, actually, is this giving you just sticks, or will I get some dried wood? Yes. It's second best fuel for this area is that dried wood. Let's take this path. Cool thing about Conan Exiles having the same map through all servers is that you can actually carry over strategies from one server to the next. Speaking of carryovers to other servers, I've always thought that it would be kind of cool if you had several characters that you could then carry over to other servers, and they would bring their recipes and their levels, but not their gear. So it's like if you, unless you would, like say for instance this guy right here, if I wanted to take him into a PvP server with his skills, then I could load him into a PvP server. He would have to still acquire all his loot and establish a base and everything else for himself. But that way I could play a main server like I do with my other 2 characters, But then if a friend says, "Hey man, we're going to war. I need some help," I can hop over with one of those guys, and he can earn levels, and feats and recipes there. Or maybe for instance, you're playing on a PVE server where someone builds right over a recipe, which happens quite often still. Believe it or not, this game is weird that way. Um, and you want to really get that recipe, start hopping around servers looking for someone who hasn't done that. And eventually you will find someone who hasn't done that, so then you can, build a base and, or a camp for that character. And maybe it's like, maybe you only have a limited number of days. Maybe the decay rate is going to be faster for you on a server that's not your base main server. And you can also set servers to be your home server as well. So just like in Elder Scrolls Online, you have PvP campaigns, and you could set one as a guest or you could set one as your home. So in this game, if you were to have the ability to hop a character from one server to the next, you could establish a server as your main server, your base or home server, and then you could set up several guest servers for yourself. And just like if it's 160 hours for abandonment on your main server, on your home server, it might be like maybe 60 hours. You get like 5 days, and in 5 days, if you don't actually do anything, you you lose all that stuff. It decays faster for you. First, I think that would be fantastic because it would make cross-server wars a viable thing and very fun. Secondly, you would have server pirates who would go in and loot and stuff like that, and cause chaos and have a good time, and then vanish. But anything that they had on the server would be left behind. And that's the other thing too, is that when you leave the server, it's essentially your character dies on that guest server, so you would have to store your stuff in a box or a vault or something, because then you would drop all your loot, just like you would if you died on the actual server. So just some ideas. Again, just throwing them out there. I've actually suggested this on the suggestions forum many months ago. It didn't seem to really pick up much interest. I don't think a lot of people at the time were really thinking about it. But the game has gotten to a state where, a server can get slow, especially the PvP servers. You get a clan or two that's like really, really aggressive, and they just kind of like, they make it so that nobody can fucking do anything without getting destroyed. And so everybody just kind of leaves, and then they end up sitting there twiddling their thumbs going, well, let's go play another server. And a lot of times those characters, those players, they won't. They'll just get off the game and go do something else, play another game for a couple weeks or a month or so, and wait for their server to come back up to speed. Okay, this 1v2 is just a real nuisance. I hope you're watching my strategy for this, by the way. This is also really viable in PvP. Okay, now we're getting the cripple, and that's the problem. That cripple is so critical. No wonder bow builds are fucking amazing. If you got a couple of guys in a PvP matchup, a 2vx or whatever, or 2v2, you got one dude off in the distance just farting around with arrows, and the other guy is, he's doing his deal. Some stack on you. Get out of this, get out of this. No, I can't get out of it. Ah, shit. Why didn't he dodge out? I don't want to get in there with the bleed. And I can't heal with the bleed. I'm just waiting for this. My stamina is just draining like crazy. I have 10 stamina. I don't understand why it's going so fast. I'm not running. I mean, why am I draining stamina? I'm not even sprinting that much. Look, it shouldn't be that hard. All right, fine. Whoa, get the hell out. So okay. Why did I double jump? Yeah, NPC lag is something. Oh, I lost. There she is. Okay. Every now and then, shit goes down the wrong way. Hey, you gotta wipe it off your side. Alright, let's get you. Come on, take Take some, take some, take some. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're dead. Awesome. Okay, let's get on the skinnings. Yeah, I know, that's brutal. Sorry. Okay, did that. By the way, this is Salacio's, or whatever his name is. You get that treasure map, this is where the treasure box is. Everybody knows this. Let's see, it's just right there. No big deal. I'm wearing mostly just black hand crap anyway, so let's see. I guess that's good enough for me now. Okay. That's right. Let's try the pikey pike. Pikey pike. Pokey pokey pike. Yes, let's get this discovery.
Come and die!
That's why they do it. That's why they have that posing. That's what happens. So what I was seeing happen in PvP was that people would go pike, 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 and then they'd switch to daggers and dodge back. But now when you do that, it lags up a little bit. And I think they do that because they don't want people to be able to swap weapons that quickly and exploit that. So, okay, that's fair enough. But, you know, at the same time, what the fuck? This, we're gonna need some steel. Alright, that's good enough. This is like the cheap and easy brimstone. If you come out to the Black Galleon area, this is a good spot. Now, it hasn't been very contested lately because people go for the gold. You know, they go straight out to the Shattered Springs, or they hit the Spider Caves or the Crystal Caves, and that's the thing they like to do the best, because you get the most brimstone that way. But if you're playing PvE, and you're playing, you know, kind of lo-fi casual, you don't need to go totally nuts. Camping around by the Black Galleon is a pretty decent spot to kind of level with and everything. You will eventually want to move further north and get access to higher volumes of resources, especially on a PvP server or PvE conflict server where you're going to have active resistance to everything you do. You definitely want to go ahead and get those higher volumes of resources. They will be contested, and you will have to be more cautious about how you store shit, but it's worth it. I'm over encumbered now. Oh shit, what the hell? Great. I don't think I'm going to survive this. Can't get through him. Come on, damn it. Yeah, this is it. I'm dead here now, too. Fuck off. Ah! Totally unconscious. This is why you don't play games with the head out. Alright. Well, let's see if I can sneak up and get my shit. Thank God mobs don't freaking pick up. Yes, I got killed by a Zamorian fighter, and look at the rubber banding going on. Is there more people on now? No, it's just Darkhaven. No one can loot my corpse but me, because it's a PvE server, so I'm really in no big rush, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to take my time. I don't want to just meander out there. I have enough points to get any more grit? No, of course not. Let's get some more vitality. Can't do that. There's not enough there. Oh. Those guys are back. Is it the corrupted hyena and the other two? I want to make sure I keep moving. No, it's just 3 regular hyenas. So yeah, having the ability to have a main server and then guest servers, you know, running with just the one character, I think it might open up the dynamicism of the game a bit more. Not sure how it would plug into the narrative, because the thing I've noticed with Conan Exiles is that it is a very narrative-driven design. It has, it does have a running story in it. It's not a very deep story, obviously, because this is a survival sandbox, and these guys are trying to do their best, to fix problems before adding more and more layers of content on top of that. Although they've done a really fantastic job with giving us, DLCs and cosmetics and things like that to have fun with. So we got our loot back. All right, now, oh shit, for reals. I need to. You followed me? God damn it. There we go with that cripple again. Can we just go a little bit faster here? I really miss the old roll dodge. Okay, well, we are gonna die. So, just take it. Because there isn't anything else I could do about it. It's just. Yeah. I don't know where I picked his aggro up from. I thought I evaded those three. There must have been one hanging out in the shrubs. Be interested to see what the ping on the server is when I leave it, because coming up on an hour's worth of play. Okay, let's try a different route. Let's try going through here and just avoid the hyenas altogether, but then I'm going to pick up the stupid. I might actually end up accidentally picking up a black hand pirate. So I have to be somewhat careful. I don't want to get a spider either, because well, these spiders don't cripple, so I have to be cautious about that. I don't want to be crippled, because right now he does not have the levels to evade it, and I am picking up a lot of stuttering here. I don't know if you can really see it that much. Streaming quality is not that great. And okay, looks like we've avoided the hyenas. We do have that one now who'll probably be returning back to his pack, so we're going to need to be careful about that spot. So, I guess, yeah, I must have picked him up when I went through that area back there. So that's the way he's going to be heading back, most likely. So I'm going to just avoid all that altogether. And I know I can get to my corpse from this location, from this area here. So they're also talking about bringing in a new map, and where everyone's speculating as to how we'll be able to access it. It will be a paid DLC though, paid content, so that would be kind of interesting. And I'm totally fine with that. It's I just don't care. It's just like it's no different than any other kind of multiplayer online game. Okay, I thought that was a hyena at first. I mean, I play Elder Scrolls Online. I don't play a lot. I play mostly the economy, and I don't know where my corpse is. Is he camping my frickin' body? Fuck off. I just need to get to my shit, dump the crap that I don't need, get the fuck out of Dodge. Alright, let's take a look around, take a look around, take a look around. Alright, what I don't need. Oh god, I need it all. 66. There we go. That's still not enough. Alright, we'll just dump this shit because the black hand armor is crap. Get my butt back here. And I can sort crap out a little bit more. I actually camped up in this spot on one server for close to 2 months. Nobody ever fucking even noticed me. Of course, at that time I was also logging on late at night, so... What a pain in the ass. That kind of really slowed me down more than it needed to. Oh, really? Just get rid of all the black hand stuff. It's just not worth it. None of it really does anything. Where's the pikey pike? There's the pike. And don't need that. Can use that. Pharaoh flesh. Don't want to eat that because I don't have raw and bloody with me yet. Ooh, fire water. Let's get drunk. My character can enjoy a headache just like I'd have. So now we are in the late nights. I think I can make it back straight away. Or maybe I shouldn't. Let's get a torch. Can always use a torch. And I should probably make myself some bedrolls. I don't think I've done that yet for this game. I think 3's enough. What do you think? We're not going to go for that. Alrighty, here we go. Just hoping I can level a little bit more. It's those stupid hyenas. At low levels, hyenas are just going to wreck your shit on a regular basis. You know, you can pretty much get away with anything else. Come on. What the really? There we go. Oh, yep, see there, he came back. He's getting ready for the lunge. There's the lunge. Broken the combo. See, once you get a one-on-one, if you're like not encumbered, it's a straight kill. You know, you don't have to. You don't struggle. Individually, they're not that strong. It's unless you, of course, you're caught off guard. You're playing with no sound. You don't play the music. Having the music on is good because it does indicate when you're getting aggro. You know, when you picked up aggro, because it goes straight into that whole noise. You know, that's kind of like goofy shit. All right, what do we have here? We have an axe versus a pike. Actually, okay, she's a little too. Oop. Let's back out. There we go. I do the crippling in this game, not you.
Can't believe it! Killed by a
Yay.
bleeding landsman.
There's much rejoicing. Alright. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, now, not getting near the levels I really want. But then again, I am trying to play more cautiously. Now that I've realized that the game is completely hostile right now. So yeah, I was talking also about the possibility that your character has a hidden stat. It's RNG. So I was playing Destiny 1. I was in a large group. We had like 20 people playing in this group. And it seemed like I was always luckier than the rest when it came to finding exotics. You know, I would get exotic weapon drops, I'd get exotic quests, I would be able to complete exotic quests. I think the only exotic quest that I ever struggled on was, of course, everybody struggled on at that time, was the Thorn quest, because you had to get those void kills in PvP. And I was not a really good PvP player in Destiny, and Destiny is actually quite trash when it comes to PvP. It always has been. I'm pretty sure it always will be, until they finally, pop the cork on that whole deal and go for dedicated servers for PvP. But I don't think that's ever going to really happen. Alright, so we got lots and lots of tar being built up here. Finally got some actual real fuel that I can put real shit into. And let's go back over here to the composter. Drop that off because we don't really need it. And drop that off because we need to do that. And let's see, put the bone meal in. Take the bone meal out. High fives. Okay, whatever. Must have been my bad. My misinterpretation of things. I'm gonna make some more steel. Fire. I should probably try to get myself an alchemist, just so I can do the orbs. Orbs would be important eventually. Let me think. Do I need brick? Yeah, 100 bricks. Yeah, I This is what PvE is. Well, this is what the game is. Um, but yeah, being able to go onto a server with all your recipes and skill levels would be seriously powerful. So I guess the balance would have to definitely be a very, very limited amount of time before things start to decay. You'd have to be very um, active on your so-called guest server, specifically to make sure that people don't exploit that. Because that would just be. Actually, let's do this. Let's get some. Let's get some. Let's get some. Let's get some. I need to really. I need that steel so fast so I can get some massive fiber going here. So I want to make that steel sickle. And I need to get to steel. I don't think I even have steel as a recipe yet. Whoops, wrong button. Okay, there we go. I can remember how to play this game. I am a real man. I'm trying to go for that sure-footed effect. That'll be majorly helpful, especially since I'm going to be hanging around here for a while. Okay. So yeah, I'm not touching steel till level 30. I should have remembered that. Which means it's just I'm going to all be doing this, you know. Gotta make some to get some. That's the way the world is. Gotta make some to get some. Alright, so let's think about what it is I really want to do now with everything. I need to make some better armor. That's for damn sure. And I know I'm going after the steel right now because steel is going to be critical. But I think I should probably focus on making that armor, which means I should probably also focus on getting some fiber other than what I'm running around with, which is going to be a lot of farming. So let's go ahead and here that I need to make the armor. Why did that happen? Well, that was weird. Come on, game, keep up with me. Keep up with me. You can do it. Alright, so we need that. I don't know why it keeps popping out of the... See, that's what I'm talking about. That's one of the other things I look at. And believe it or not, I know that's minor shit. But, all kinds of lag. You know, menu lag. Oh, those guys. Okay. Yeah. I have a feeling these dudes are out of country or something like that. I don't know what the problem is. Or maybe Darkhaven is massively building over there now, and so he's increasing the latency in the area because of all the placeables he's putting in. I need to go find myself some really good gear. I don't think I need any more stonework. So let's go ahead and make a fuck ton of bricks, because that's going to be for something important eventually. The wood items, we can put that in here. I can put the gold in here, because I don't really need that right away. I don't need any of this. I don't have an alchemist yet, so that could go in there. I don't have a stove yet. That could go in there. That could go in there. This could go in here. I need... Let's just do that. Let's put this in the carpentry area. And put that there, put that there. This is basically going over back here now. I'm just kind of sorting shit out randomly. Alright, so tool. See what I'm doing here? It's like This is all stuff that's used in this crafting station, so I'm putting it there. Now, technically, leather is also used on the blacksmith's bench, but we're going to put it there. And carpenter. I found out that food decays slower when it's put into a fire pit or a campfire, so I'm going to do that. Set this here, crystals, of course. Put this in the composter because I have space for it. And then we're going to get drunk as fuck. Get extremely drunk. And there we go. Alcohol poisoning. Now a thing. Alright, so what do you do when you get high? Oh, that's just letting me know that okay. I don't know why I'm holding my hand out like that. I guess because he's drunk. Let's go ahead and harvest a bunch of fiber down here because I'm going to need a lot of strength because I'm going to be making medium armor to get myself more armor and to get myself closer to that tier 2 perk for saying fuck you to hyenas and any other crippling effects, because that seems to really get me killed a lot at these lower levels. Until my vitality goes back up and my armor quality gets better, I need to seriously defend myself as much as possible against crippling. Bleed is not so bad, but if you can't get away from a bleeding attack because you're crippled, you're fucked. So yeah, alright, don't want to drown to death. Drown to death. Can you drown and not die? Yeah, you can actually. You can actually drown and not die. You can suffocate and not actually die. You might be, might lose a significant number of brain cells, but technically you still can be resuscitated, so you're not dead. I think that definition applies. Maybe not. So I'm already 2 minutes over my time that I was going to spend on this character. Kind of sad. I really did kind of think that maybe I could get the last 5 levels I needed for this character to get to fluid press abilities so that I can improve my fuel capabilities, because while you can't use coal, dried wood, bark, branches, even grass fiber, while you can use all that in your stations, um, having an inconsistent fuel type is a pain in the ass, because it won't just automatically start burning the next fuel type. It'll stop until you actually reload it. And I am taking damage because of my sickness. I have no stamina. That is so sad. Well, I need strength, so. Oh, man. Having a healing potion would be great right now. For some reason, I'm not getting out of the alcohol poisoning. I don't know why, because it should have run out by now. Why is this still here? Finally! Okay. I was like, I saw that hourglass had been empty for a while, so I was starting to get a little bit irritated on this. This is a light wrap bonus encumbrance. This is a medium helmet, so we want breastplate. Where is it? Come on. Did I pass it? I did. Hello. So we can make one of those. I want some boots. I need to make 2 of those that don't have a crafter in the station. And I want some pants. I don't care about the gauntlets. Well, maybe, can I make the gauntlets? Yeah, I can make the gauntlets too. Alright, so we got all that crafting now. Now, I'm going to use Yamatai, because it's versus the heat, which is good. I'm going to need 15. That's 23. 35. I should have enough. I have plenty. I have plenty. I'll be good. It'll all be good. Alright, so we can start making our shit. Oh shit. Why are you lagging on me? I don't have to worry about the helmet. I can actually repair the helmet, I think, right now. You do not have the expertise to repair this item. I don't have... Oh, it's flawless, that's why. Bone. Dupe. The doofus. Totally forgot. Don't have that. I like mixing the medium helmet with the Yamatai demon armor because it just looks kind of nice. But yeah, let's see what else do we have for medium boots. Oh, so sorry. Just do the medium boots at Yamatai, and then we'll do the pants at Yamatai, and then we'll do the gauntlets at Yamatai, and we'll be done. Maybe I'll get some levels for crafting. Maybe I'll get some XP for crafting. It looks like I'm pretty close to level 24, which means nothing in this game at this point. You don't really start actually being able to play a character until you get to level 30. Now that could be something else too. Maybe when you have a guest server, maybe you do show up at a low level, but maybe like 1/5 of the level you are on your main server. I don't know. There's ways you can balance it out. You can take the character with all the same recipes and levels over. Obviously, the given would be that you would never be allowing anybody to bring their followers or their gear from one server to another because you would have such an exploitous community draw up from that. That would just be crazy. It would devolve the game super fast. Trust me on this. Given human nature, and we are programmed to take advantage of just about any situation that we can. It would not be good for anybody. So, yeah, that as a standing point, you would not be able to bring over your weapons, gear, or followers. And but you could, I think, you could bring over your recipes and maybe a portion of your levels. And when I say the recipes, what I'm really talking about are the ones that you earn that don't go away when you take the Yellow Lotus Potion. So, moving from one server to the other, any items you have on your character are immediately dropped in a loot bag. Your character is essentially dead on that server. He does not exist on that server. You cannot find his body. He will not be asleep there. It would be like taking a Yellow Lotus Potion. And maybe even make it be something that you'd have to take a potion to do it. You know, like a teleportation item, or maybe you have to make a actual station for it. You know, that might be kind of fun. You know, so like you make a map room to teleport from obelisk to obelisk, then you'd have to make a separate map room to teleport from server to server. So maybe you would be limited on the number of guest servers you could occupy. You would have to assign those servers to the teleportation obelisk, like you get the bracelet attuned on an obelisk, and you can't use that teleport obelisk on the map room until you have that obelisk attuned. So you would have to like maybe drink a potion or concoct a ritual, perform a ritual that would attune another server you want to play on. So it's like your buddy calls you up and says, "Hey man, I've got this holding over here on this server and I'm being attacked. I need some help." Instead of you going out there and starting a brand new tune and then having to grind all those levels to get up there, which is honestly not that hard to do if you got somebody hosting you. But if you go over by yourself and your buddy's like totally been wiped, he's got nothing to help you with. Yeah, leveling is faster when you're working together. That is a thing. But this way, your character has all his skills, he has all his knowledge, all of his attributes, his abilities. But then you would have to maybe your friend would have to. No, not your friend. You would have to like create the portal. You would have to use the portal, and then again, like I said, anything you leave behind on that other server would decay at twice the rate than your main server. Unless you made that your main server, and maybe once you make that your main server, everything on all the other guests on your other main server just despawns. So there would be ways to limit people from exploiting the ability to have like a team of mercenaries that they could pool upon. If you had this super clan of like 100 guys or 100 players, and they just go from server to server wiping. There'd be ways you could limit this, like first of all limiting how many guest servers you could be a participant on, speeding up the decay on those guest servers. And if you make a guest server your main server, everything on your main server is immediately just wiped out. This would prevent people from sprawling across servers like they do in PvE, sprawling across maps. So just some ideas. I think that would be kind of fun to put in there. I don't think this stuff can be used in the composter. Oh well. We're out of fuel over here now. Yay. Good times. I have to go get some coal. It's just gonna be the thing, I guess. Wait, why are you punching? Dude, seriously, I didn't pull the trigger. Shit. Just because I walk up to the station doesn't mean I need to use it. Alright, here we go. Now I gotta try to remember where I found all that coal earlier. I think it's around the cave entrance. I know I said I wasn't gonna keep playing after a certain point, but I'm kind of feeling like I probably owe it to this character to at least get him to level 25. It is it would be a disservice to this character to not have him be the proper level that he could be given things. Alright, so let's go get some coal. I don't remember there being any over this way. Oh, these guys are still here. This is Darkhaven. Knock knock. I don't know why my character is in combat stance. It's just silly. Oh, you know what? Now that I've got armor and a decent level of healing abilities, and I've got that increased strength and vitality, what is that buff going to be? Really? That's it for getting drunk? Definitely need to pour shit into the stam since I'm leveling. And leveling is fastest when you're beating shit up, so gotta make that be the case. Gonna have to play that game. Alright, at least the climbing is a little bit better now. Seems I'm being a bit less harassed by the game. That's kind of nice. That was weird though. It looked like somebody here looted already. I wonder if agility really makes a difference. I should probably do that on a test. Fuck off. I'm not gonna pull his crap. Oh shit, dude. She's like totally in me with that fucking sword. Damn. What the hell? Sword of fucking Kron? No? Oh, come on. Okay, no. Done. Time to get out of this mess. Go faster.
Got no chance, mate.
Yeah, she's gonna wreck me. It's a two-handed. Am I crippled again? Ah. Just hang out back here like a shit, healing up. Shouldn't be this week.
Put your weapons up.
It's like pikes are just garbage. Everything's garbage in this game, combat-wise. There doesn't really seem to be much of a decent. Really, bows are really just become the thing. I think I'm just getting bullshit loot off of them too. All right, let's get that encumbrance. Nothing, of course. Seriously, with the bows and the cripple again. And a two-hander. Really? Good combos on the AIs. I gotta give them that. Anybody following? No? Of course not. Struggle is so real. So yeah, I'm 116 past. I'm 16 minutes past the time I was going to give this character. Oh jeez, really? My only thing is that I hope Conan doesn't go that route like so many other MMOs are doing, where they penalize solo players. You know that the game is so easy for combo players that, or duos or groups, that they're going to make it more challenging for them, so they'll keep playing. They're going to make it even more difficult for guys who just either A, don't have the player base to draw upon a group, or B, don't feel like having to share their adventure with everybody else to enjoy the game. Now, does that mean that I'm going to be more OP than than a group of players? Yeah. Would this possibly train me to be a better PvP player? I have a feeling it's gonna. I have a feeling that the challenge of playing this game on its own, on my own, is going to do a lot to basically make my character a bit more stronger, make me a better player. So yeah, I guess that's what that's going to be. Let's go check out the bows and shit and see if I can get some decent arrows made now. I think I have access to some pretty decent arrows right now. Not at all. Fuck me. Well, I can make iron arrows. Let's do that. Come on. Oh god, the game is still fucking bugged on that shit. Worth it. Might as well. Armors. Let's go make ourselves a stable. So we make stables? I should be able to make stables now. Yeah, we can make stables. Okay. So, stable is brick, wood, twine. There we go. So, you know how like I was talking about how you should be able to make building materials, building elements in a crafting station like this. I mean, you can make twine in a crafting station. So, why can't you make something else in a crafting station? Why can't you do building materials in a crafting station? You know, that's kind of like, well, is there somebody there? You know, okay, so we killed that guy. I guess I could just farm the Black Hand camp nearby for XP. That'd probably be just as easy as anything else. Need to get this going. Need to get that going. Put that in there. And I'm gonna put this in here. Take this out. I'm gonna try to make a run through the Black Hand. I'm gonna take my bedroll with me and leave the repair hammer because you don't really need that. Let's just do that. Let's do that bow meta. Bow meta. Bow meta. Bow. 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 Bow meta. Bow meta. Bow. 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 Bow meta. Bow. I need feathers. Of course I do. Trying to remember where's the fastest place to get feathers around here. And it's dark. Okay, well, at this point in time, I am going to go ahead and put this guy in here. Now, the reason why I put him in here, as opposed to just leaving him out on the bench, on the platform, he's crafting platform, is because you can actually kite an NPC or a mob up to your character and get him killed. So uh, it's just stupid. I don't know if it's still a thing. I don't want to take a chance. So that was my PVE character. So like I said, I go back in here. We're gonna check the region. Waiting. Thank you. Just be faster than me. That's all I ever ask. Okay, so that was this guy here. I want to see what the ping was. It was the lowest ping when I started the character today, and it looks like this one and this one are not going to make the cut because I don't play them as much because they have high pings or the conditions on the server are so laggy that it's hard to progress them. Um, Latency does slow you down, really does. I'm waiting for this to come up. Although I do have to say that ping versus speed of loading is a factor, I think, in some way. I don't really know everything about architecture when it comes to servers, how it all interacts with each other. Holy shit, 135? That's a lot. This is a good server. It's kind of at war right now, but they're at least staying away from the solos, so that's decent enough. I do like playing fort battles. I do want to eventually get to a point on a server where I can build some junky ass little citadel out at the sinkhole or off in the savannah or up in the highlands. Stock it with some thralls, some pets. Well, they call them all followers right now, but stock it with some fighters, and then just issue a challenge to whoever says, "Yeah, I'm looking for a fight. Please PM me if you want to do player versus player. Otherwise, if you're just into player versus door, you're gonna find nothing." Because I'm all about the pinata. I just don't really think that PvP should just be me versus a door because somebody's on. But then again, that's a tactic, and it's a viable tactic, and it works for a lot of people. All right, so the PVE one, yeah, it's still a level 60, still 69, still under 70. I noticed that about 70 plus, things get a bit hairy for me. But anyway, so this is it. That's so like I said, just some quick progress. I played about 22 minutes over the time I really wanted to. My character didn't get too far. I really was hoping to get him to level 28 at least, so he can start using the fluid press and speed up his production on brick and iron and steel. But that's okay. I think it's interesting that you can make steel fire pretty damn early in the game, but you can't actually start crafting steel tools till level 30. Um, I don't know. I mean, that whole level gating thing for recipes seems to be, in my opinion, a bit limiting in a game because, I mean, I was 14 years, no, I was 16 years old, 14 years old. I was in high school. Okay, I'll just put it there. I was in high school and I had enough skill as an actual artist and I won't say educator, but mentor. I had enough skill as an artist and a mentor that I worked with an actual art teacher for a summer program at the local community college, which kind of got me into the whole idea of running workshops and being able to impart upon people information, and I like doing that. And whether if somebody doesn't want that information, they're welcome to not take that information. It's out there. Have it. Use it as you wish. So the level gating, abilities and activities. There are certain things that kind of make some sense because there's a emotional, intellectual, experience, wisdom kind of level that has to go with it. But when it comes to like playing a video game, uh, making your character be a certain level to access a certain recipe is kind of just, in my opinion, just kind of silly. If you want to, if you, it should all just be about the feat points and the ability points, and the levels are there to basically modify your efficiency, perhaps. Um, but that would just be, that in itself is pretty fun. I mean, when I used to play RPGs quite a bit, tabletop role playing games. I did run a campaign where we played with a system that used levels to modify character abilities, but then I took those levels out. You didn't start with a level 0 fighter. You started as a level 0 combatant. So instead of having a general character level, you had skill levels in your in the actual skills. So if you focused more on close combat, you got bonuses to close combat, and you didn't get any bonuses for ranged combat. But if you applied ranged combat tactics, if you applied close combat tactics to ranged combat, for instance, in the Middle Ages and in ancient times, even bowmen, archers, they weren't perched up on a cliffside or whatever, on a tower, on a perch. Um, Sniping people from a distance. A lot of archers, they were long range combatants, but there's some documentation and some oral traditions that talk about how archers in the northern Germanic tribes could could run through the ranks of combatants, sniping people at about as close as 10 feet away. Some even getting point blank, which is I think like 3 feet or low or closer, and arrow through the head, pull it out, use the same arrow to hit the other guy, that kind of thing. Uh, which is why there are artifacts of steel arrows, iron arrows. Why would you make an iron arrow? First of all, they'd be hella fucking cumbersome to carry around with you, in combat, and it was pretty expensive to forge something like that because I mean making a mace or a sword takes some effort in itself, but it's a chunk of metal. You don't really need to refine the shape that much. When making a shaft for an arrow, making an iron rod uh, does take a bit more skill, and it is a bit more expensive time wise and material, not so much, but time wise and skill wise. Having that artisan available to you, whether even if it's a slave, it's still expensive time wise to make those. So it makes sense that these iron shafted arrows, these better quality made shafts, weren't just because they were trying to punch armor with them, but mostly because they wanted to be able to reuse them. So, and like I said, in this campaign, I introduced this idea of skill specific levels. So you started off with a tier 1 ability or or item that you can make for your character, and then you on playing that particular ability or playing those particular skills, the more levels you earned in those skills, and those were direct modifiers to your rolls. So in playing like in a game like Dungeons and Dragons, this is where we did this. A fighter had, he had proficiency with a sword, and he had proficiency with a shield, and he could use the two combo together as a sword and shield combo. So anytime this fighter was successful in a combat with sword and shield, I gave him a certain number of experience points that he applied to just his sword and shield. Uh, he could also choose to divide those experience points up individually to shield and sword. So if you wanted to, like, say, for instance, keep leveling his ability with a shield, eventually, if you went with a javelin or a pike in shield, or spear in shield, or a mace in a shield, he'd have the modifier to the defense and offhand attack with the shield, and then he could start leveling his skills with the mace. And I thought that this particular, we tried this out for a campaign setting, and it was a small group, like 2, 3 players, 2 players, 3 players. We fluctuated. Anyway, tried it out with a small group, and not everybody liked it. Uh, I thought it did a lot better than just saying a blanket proficiency that increased as your character as a whole's levels increased. So I think level gating in any kind of a game situation like a survival game is kind of ridiculous. I mean, if you can learn the recipe, you can learn the recipe. I mean, learning how to make a fluid press just magically shows up in our character's head when they reach level 30. What did he learn before that? Well, then, you know, being able to make a carpenter's bench happens at a magical level. Um, it's kind of it's in my opinion it's not a very immersive mechanic. I learned basic carpentry by watching my dad and my grandfather do carpentry of their own, do woodworking of their own. I did some experimentation. So having a game allow you to do some experimentation to earn a recipe would be kind of fun as well. Now there would be some fallbacks to that, as of course. If you didn't do it right, your efficiency with using that station or that tool would be much lower. Uh, but then the more you use that tool in that station, the more efficiency you can get for it. In this case, just like you level fighters now with the new thrall system, the new follower system, you could level craftsmen like this as well. And I've always said that you shouldn't have to do you getting level 4 craftsmen, level 3 craftsmen shouldn't require you having to go all the way the fuck out of the desert. If you wanted to start off with like a level 1 carpenter, the more you use them, the more you invested in their skill, the lower levels they would gain. Eventually, they could make you epic, flawless items and be about as efficient as a named crafter. Now, of course, getting a named crafter might open up some more unique recipes like they do right now, which is perfectly fine. You might get, if you get a Sumerian level 4 Sumerian weaponsmith, he could, he makes a Sumerian bow or a Sumerian sword that has a bit higher penetration to it, or maybe a bit more durability to it, or whatever the Sumerians are best known for with their metalworking, which they're kind of not, from what I understand. I mean, Conan the Barbarian, the movie, was a fun movie, but as far as tying into the universe of the Conan universe, the Hyborian Age, not the most accurate. First and foremost, the whole line about what is best in life is Conan despised making women cry. He absolutely disliked the sound of crying women. He thought that any warrior that would make a woman cry is no man or warrior at all. Um, so he wasn't totally into that. He was totally into driving his enemies before them, but he was not into hearing the lamentations of their women. So that's an inaccuracy. The whole Thulsa Doom dynamic between him and Conan, was totally inaccurate. Uh, the sword forging, that was kind of accurate because that sword, his father's sword, did in fact get broken, which meant that the Sumerian steel was not the best, and it wasn't. In the story, it's not the best. It's Stygian, I think, that's actually the better steel, or the Hyrcanian steel. Anyway, but I'm totally off topic here. So blabbering on for another 14 minutes there, 10 minutes there, wasn't all that necessary. I just wanted to kind of talk a bit more about the game and some things that I think I would be excited to see happening in the future. I think cross server, gaming would be very fun. They are introducing this new map, which is probably going to be accessible by taking off your bracelet. Maybe it would be like the Grovich Ball Sag. You have to drink a potion. Um, who knows? Who knows? I think that it is actually pretty exciting. I'm excited to see what happens and how they implement it. Maybe it'll be a way for characters to get from one server to another with their skills and abilities. Uh, Maybe they could do something more with the whole crafting progression. A way for us to level crafters, like we can level followers now. That would be kind of fun. And or maybe even converting a follower into a crafter or a crafter into a follower. Because I mean, what are you gonna do with a level 1, weaponsmith, blacksmith? You get that level 2 or level 3 or purge blacksmith. What are you gonna do with the level 1 guy? On a PvP server, you could probably set him up in a dummy shack, in a dummy shop, as being a decoy. To see who's stupid enough to want to break and enter your shit and cause a war. Most times, what happens is that people just throw them out. We just dump them. That's it. Which is a waste, I think, in terms of resources, because that was a footprint on the server, and sometimes that footprint, can be used still. But anyway, that's all that is for me to now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching through. If you just stopped in and took a look, that was great. Hope I can see a comment eventually from somebody, other than an in-game comment. If you want to play Conan Exiles with me, I'm kind of always I'm always good to play a game or two, or be introduced to somebody else's server, or see what their builds are doing, um, both their buildings and their character builds. I am Artist Poet on PlayStation 4, and I also play Minecraft and Elder Scrolls Online and Destiny 2. A bunch of other the free to play games. Gauntlet. I've been doing a lot of Gauntlet, so if you want to play some games, go ahead and send me a PM, invite me. Um, if I have the time on hand, I will most definitely stop by and say hi. And hope to see you in the next video.